When you see a lady wearing a white fur coat, do you know it is full of blood and tears? It has been 200 years since hunting of small fur seals started, and 50 million pups have been killed in total only around the Newfoundland coast in Canada. If we add the massacre in Greenland and the Bering Strait of the Soviet Union, the total number will be at least 70 million. The number of fatalities among those hunters who died in the ice sea that is covered with floes has exceeded 1,000. And many others were injured or turned into the disabled. But the hunters are still unafraid of danger, and they are rushing to kill the little fur seals every year, which is as enthusiastic as digging gold. Newfoundland is barren, and snowy almost year-round, not to mention farming, even trees can't grow well. Most of the Newfoundland people live on fishing. The Newfoundland Fishing Ground is one of the 3 largest fishing grounds in the world, with abundant fish production. The fishing season of Newfoundlanders is only a few months in the summer of the year. After the autumn, the huge icebergs and ice floes in the Arctic Sea begin to move south, which will seal the sea, and it is even more impossible to go fishing. There is no work to do in winter, so the Newfoundlanders row the boats at this time, or drive a motorized fishing boat, some 80 tons, some 200 tons, with 30 or 40 people, went outside the coast of Labrador, and stared among the ice floes to kill these baby cubs who still can't act. The fishermen stunned the little fur seal with a wooden stick and immediately skinned the pup before it was frozen. Often, the fishermen skinned the little fur seal with a knife while the pup is still in a semi-conscious state. Their blood trickled and sprinkled on the ice floes. Looking at this dreadful scene, those female seals screamed and rushed to rescue their children, but the fishermen rampantly beat them to death too. In that brutal situation, even if you are a cruel-hearted person, you will feel terrible and unbearable to watch. But the Newfoundlanders are ruthless and have become used to it, thinking it is no different from skinning a fish, and are unconcerned with the feeble imploring of the pups. The International Fund for Animal Welfare and the Greenpeace Messenger, both of which are voluntary private organizations, have launched appeals every year, advocating not to kill baby fur seals. The Geographic magazine and some humanitarian groups have also pleaded individually. But the Newfoundlanders ignore the criticism and become more intensified, killing more fur seals. The governor of Newfoundland said this is a necessary income for them to earn a living. The fur seals expel all the fish in Newfoundland's fishing ground, and that seriously harms Newfoundlanders' fishery industry. Therefore, fur seals must be killed, and outsiders have no right to interfere, thus and so. In fact, the Newfoundlanders do not rely on killing fur seals as their main livelihood, which is only counted as the extra earnings in the winter. If the Canadian government is willing to come up with policies to improve the economy and train these hundreds of people to do some technical side jobs, they do not have to kill the seals. What can I do? I can only contribute a little bit of my strength. When seeing people, I advise them not to buy seal fur and persuade not to slaughter animals. Although I can do too little, I believe if we Buddhists continue to work hard, many a little makes a mickle. If everyone does one's best to persuade the world not to slaughter animals, and advise ladies not to buy those bloody leather coats, I believe we can acquire some influence. I never thought I could do this before. At the end of February this year, I suddenly got this revelation, so I concentrated my brainwaves day and night begging the Buddha to freeze the ice sea of Labradors. I wonder whether it is a coincidence or not. Seen on TV news today, the coast of Labrador and Baffin Bay have ice more than 20 feet thick. There are 20 Finnish and Norwegian fishing boats, all of which are blocked and cannot enter to kill pups. The Canadian Meteorological Centre announced that this was the coldest and thickest ice in Newfoundland in 50 years, and could not be explained. Newfoundland fishermen were anxious because if the ice is not melted, the little fur seal can swim and will escape after 3 weeks, and its white hairs will decay, become brown and worthless. I doubt whether it was a coincidence or response, which made me in consternation. Do I have that ability? I only saw that all the little fur seals are reincarnated from their own fathers, brothers and ancestors. They have killed the pups for generations, but they don't know that they will be reborn as pups in the afterlife and killed by their grandchildren. They have no idea the blood and tears the pups have shed are the blood of their own family. I really don't know how to make these murderous hunters understand the cause and effect, seeing they now tread on air. If I say that the pork and beef cut off by the slaughterhouse is actually the meat of some people who were reincarnated, does anyone believe it? Only the Buddhists know that I have never lied. Only the Buddhists know, indeed, it's possible to see the origin of animals, cause and effect in the previous life, and the retribution in the next life. Must humans kill animals, and eat their flesh and blood to survive? Some religions say, I'll give any animal on earth to you as food. This sentence is nothing more but fabricated by some people. What right do we have to slaughter animals? I saw that a religious priest from Newfoundland wished the fleet of sealing to have a good harvest. I felt chill in my heart. That was by no means the original intention of religion. Religions have been tampered with too much by people,